a year, she went from $12,000 a month to $50,000.
I wanted to have my own company, but I was like, I can't just quit my full-time job and start working another full-time job and then back in that same circle. So I was freaking out. I need to figure out something like now. I had no intent of signing up for his course whatsoever, and it was probably the best decision I made. So I'm Kristen, and I am the owner of Hughes Haven Cleaning Service, and we are in Wainfleet, Ontario in Canada. I am a major perfectionist. I'm also very hardworking. So I came from a family of perfectionist business owners. So a lot of my uncles and cousins all have their own business, but most of them all do it themselves just because being perfectionist, you like to just do things yourself because you do it right yourself the first time. And my parents also taught me to be hardworking as well. Growing up as a kid, if my parents saw me sitting on the couch, they would just yell at me and be like, get up, go to work. They've definitely taught me how to work hard for what I do, which I'm very grateful for. And I was raised on a farm, and so was Jake. So the ultimate goal of me running this company was I wanted to be able to help out on the farm and work on something from home. I need to work on something in order for me to feel successful in what I do. But when I'm working elsewhere, I just see my family all doing the farm stuff and I just get jealous. So ultimately I wanted to have my own company. And then I go to church. We go every week. The main reason I'm mostly here today, if I didn't have the faith that I did, it gets hard. So having that faith also pushes me through and relying that God is going to provide. And I don't have that much fear, like investing in stuff. And I like to run. All through high school, I was big into cross country and track. My coach always told me that pain only hurts. Every time I was in a race, he would say, the person beside you is going through the same struggles you are, and it's the one that is the strongest and who can push the furthest that will go the furthest. So it's always stuck with me. It's helped me along this journey as well. How it started. So during school, I had no idea what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. The only thing I did know is that I wanted to have my own business, but to what that business was, I couldn't decide. What I did know is that I wanted to work on the farm, but starting your own farm is really hard, obviously, because it's really expensive and you don't actually make a lot of money doing it right away. So I wanted to have my own business there. During school, so high school, I worked for my cousin. We did a tent company there, so we set up wedding tents, took them down, cleaned them, and it was like a summer thing because in Canada you can't set up tents in the winter. So I worked there from May till like October, November, and I banked almost 9 weeks of overtime in just that time. So I am definitely workaholic. But then once the winter came, I had to find something after I graduated because I couldn't just keep doing that. So that is actually where I started working with Jessica. She was close friends with my cousin, and they kind of were like, hey, go work for her because we got nothing for you for the winter. So I started working with Jessica part-time. It was probably 2 to 3 days a week, and I loved it. I really did like working with Jessica, but obviously my cousin paid me more, so I worked for him as much as I could. And I also picked up other side jobs too. So during the winter between 2019 to 2023, I was doing probably 5 part-time jobs all at once. So I was cutting some people's lawns. I cleaned for Jess, still worked for my cousin. I did all the tent maintenance for him. I worked for my uncle painting exteriors of houses. And I also was cleaning on my side still there too. So I actually started cleaning for my relatives. All of my clients were family, which is not a good way to start your business. I worked a lot. So I lost a lot of friends during that time just because they were like, why aren't you hanging out with me? And I'm like, I gotta work. Accidentally, I technically started in 2019 because my family were my first clients. And then 2023 came around and I was still working for my cousin, and I was like, I am not getting anywhere because I really wanted to have my own company and it was not going anywhere. So I decided to just quit because it would force me to find what I wanted to do with myself. So I did that, and then I ended up working more hours for Jessica, and I was like, I loved it, but I was like, I can't just quit my full-time job and start working another full-time job and then back in that same circle. So with Jess, I was like still probably 2 days a week there. Everybody just found out that I was cleaning houses on the side too, because I was still cleaning my aunt's houses, and they just kept passing my name around, and people were like, hey, like, can you clean my house too? And I was like, sure, like, I'll just keep saying yes, even though I did not want to clean houses, because when you're cleaning houses, you're not at home. So I still wasn't doing the whole thing. I wanted to be at home and work from home. I ended up having a full schedule in 2 months, and I was cleaning by myself there. And that's kind of how it began. I just was full-time in 2023, kind of on accident. It was not my dream job. But then in 2023, we got engaged and got married as well. So I had to make that decision of, I was either going to quit the cleaning business altogether and find a different business that I could actually do from home, or I could go full into it and go big and actually like hire hire employees and stuff like that. So that's what I did because I don't quit. I got all excited. I finally figured out my dream business. I was gonna grow really big. And then I hired 2 part-time cleaners. I had this great idea in my mind that I was gonna be the best business owner and let them choose the hours they wanted to work because I wanted that freedom for myself. So I was like, I'll give that to everybody else. So I had 2 part-time cleaners and I was like, you pick when you wanna work and I'll work the rest. That did not go very long. So they were working for me 2 to 3 days a week. Problems, obviously, came apart. I soon realized I couldn't let go. Nobody can clean as good as me. I'm a perfectionist. So when I was like training with them, I was like, oh, don't do it that way, like do it my way. I had to be at every single house in order for me to feel like, okay, I can let them go. So it was a struggle. And then obviously complaints. My perfectionist ego hurt very much there too, because I did not get a single complaint in my company until I hired people. So this was a big thing. I was like, what am I gonna do? I came to Jake too. I was like, I don't know how I'm doing myself. And then even with adding more clients and having help, my bank account was decreasing and I was doing something wrong because the whole point of hiring cleaners was to grow it and make more money. But instead I was losing money. That's when I started looking for help. I wanted to get out of the field as fast as possible and I didn't want to go broke over doing that. And I didn't want to get out of the field and like not work. I still wanted to work on it. I just didn't want to be running around every day, like bringing my supplies, coming home and still doing all the office work afterwards. But I didn't want to pay for help. I wanted to figure it out on my own. I was like, it can't be that hard. I can do this. I don't like asking for help and especially paying for help too. So I'm also from a Dutch background. We're quite cheap in what we do. So anything we can do on our own or to save some extra dollar, that's what we do. So I listened to many podcasts while cleaning and I researched any and every website on how to price cleans. I don't know if any of you guys have done that, but I was like, how to price cleans. And I was like researching everything. Every website was different and I was getting very frustrated. The podcasts were very helpful, but my problem is I listened to them all and I never implemented anything. That was also my problem there. And then somehow I ended up on the Grow My Cleaning Company website and I booked a call with Mike to ask some questions. I had no intent of signing up for his course whatsoever, but when I was talking to him at the very end, he's like, and give me your credit card number. And I don't like saying no to people and I'm too nice, so I gave him my credit card number. I got off the call and Jake was milking cows at the time. I like ran to the barn. I was like, I did something. I panicked, so like major panicked. I'm super frugal with my money. I will not buy anything. Like in high school, all my friends would go to like Tim Hortons or McDonald's and they would all buy stuff and I would be the friend to not buy anything. Even though I really wanted it, they're like, get something. I'm like, nope, not doing it. I also ran cross country. It took me 3 years of running cross country to convince myself I was allowed to buy a $150 watch. I don't spend money. Even now, we have a king size bed frame and we're sleeping on a queen mattress that has springs sticking out of it. I do not like spending money. So the fact that I just handed my credit card number over to someone who charged me like $10,000, I was freaking out. I talked to Jake about it and then at this time I also like texted Jess. I was like, hey, like I know you did this course. Do you have any feedback for me? Because I'm kind of into it now. So I did the course. And I learned a lot. I am very grateful I did take the course. It taught me that my pricing was too cheap. I was charging my family $20 an hour, and then I also had my employees on that. So of course, I was not making any money. That course also got me out of the cleaning for the most part, like 90%. It was great, but it also didn't help me scale at the pace I was hoping for. I'm an overachiever. I don't like growing slowly. I'm like, I need to go. So I had no coaching for a few months. I wanted to try and use the knowledge that I learned to grow. And Jake and I also just bought our farm there. So I was like, I need to focus on moving because I did it all myself because he was busy. So we moved and we had some other banking information to figure out with the farm stuff. So I just tinkered on my own for a little bit. And then Jess told me about Logan. So she told me how much she's grown since joining the other program. And I was like, well, that's crazy. I need to do this. I was still struggling to scale the company that I was dreaming of. I started the first program I did at $4,000 and finished at 11. And between 4 months, I grew from 11 to 12. So I was like, I need to figure out something like now. So as much as I did not like spending money, I decided to jump in with Logan and Katie. So I was actually a lot less scared of joining with you guys for a number of reasons. I actually was listening to your Monday Zoom calls for about 2 weeks before I was convinced. I was like, that's all I need to hear. The main things was the vision sheet. I was like, the numbers here was like amazing. I like never had numbers like that. I was like, I need to be able to track that sheet. And I was like, I'll sign up if I get that sheet. Also seeing Jess's growth. She was a big factor of me joining this, and I'm very grateful for her as well. The commitment was cheaper. I go for cheaper. And you guys were growing like right in front of me. I think when I joined, Mesa was only at like 20,000 when I was watching you guys. And that's kind of like where I was. And I was like, if they're doing it, I can do it. So it was not so scary for me to join. I had him look at some of your calls and stuff, and he was like all invested. He's like, I actually like think we can go somewhere with this. Instead of when I was doing the other program, he was like, yeah, okay. So you had him convinced. I started with Logan and Katie at the end of October 2024, so it's been 1 year. I was at $12,000 in monthly revenue when I started. I joined the one-on-one coaching almost right away with Katie. I first started with monthly coaching because at that time I was still leery about money because I was like, I just invested a lot of money in coaching. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I did monthly and then switched to weekly about like a month ago, I think. And weekly was an easy thing for me to hop on. I was like, it was a really easy decision for me to switch to weekly with Katie, and it was probably the best decision I made. So this month we are currently going to do $50,000 in revenue. 20 to 50K has been hard. It has not been easy whatsoever, but it has been the greatest pain I've endured, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was very chaotic because 20 to 50K is like, you're still learning all the systems, like creating them and everything. But now, like from the 40 to 50, I felt like I had more control over it a little bit because I'm not so much investing on trying to create the systems. I was just more refining them. So already that now I see it's getting better. So it's running more smooth, and I can now confidently make payroll. Every time payroll came, we were like into every our accounts, like finding which one we can pay our payroll from. And now I haven't touched money for payroll in a while. So I'm very grateful for that. I also like look back on what I was doing in 20 to 30K. And back then I couldn't even buy a vacuum and I was freaking out. So now I'm just like, oh, gotta get a new vacuum? Ooh, okay. No stress about it. I still have lots to learn, but I know with every phase comes its struggles, and I'm very excited to keep growing through that. There was so much I've learned from you guys. Sales alone. The other day I was thinking about how I was doing sales before I even started coaching, and like I'd get on a call from local service ads and they're like, what's your price? I'm like, $30 an hour. I'm like, what? The way we do our sales now has been crazy. And before, I used to have a paper pinned on our fridge. I was like, I'm gonna sell 10 cleans this month, and now I sell like 10 cleans in a day. It was hard for me to even hit the 10 sales in a month. Data tracking, the vision sheet has been my game changer. Not only have I been able to see like where I've been lacking, but I've been able to use it to refine some of my systems as well. And the consistency, so how to show up every single day, even on the worst days. What I've also been realizing too is like, employees call out sick, but when you're sick, you still have to do the hard thing and keep working. So growing my capacity more than I thought I could actually handle. And I still, like, even on our one-on-ones with Katie too, I'm like, I feel like I've reached my capacity. She's like, you can do more. So it's also learning how to consistently perform the tasks well. Like, so just because I did good, just like because I hit 50 this month, I have to continually do it to hit it again next month and do the same process over and over and over again. And we were in church the one Sunday, and the minister was talking about, like, with your faith as well. For something to get better, you actually have to use it for it to get better and to refine it. So in order for your skills to get better, you have to keep doing it and keep refining it to be consistent at it. So consistency was a big one I learned, and leadership. So how to hold the standard. I can't expect them to do anything if I can't do it myself. And learning that leaders must go first. I did try to hire some office people before because I was very stressed, and I learned that I have to do it first. I have to grow my capacity first in order for me to properly lead a team as well. I can't also hire people to do the things I don't want to do, so I have to actually learn how to do them first. And then vulnerability. This one is a big one. Learning to point that finger towards myself before pointing it out. All the problems that I have always can resort back to me. Even sometimes when you think it's not your fault, most of the time there's something that you could have done to make it better or to prevent it from happening like that again. Also being able to say to clients and cleaners that it is your fault and like not point that finger back at them. So it's been a turning point in my life as well, even like with friends and family. When there's arguments or something that happens, you can always turn that finger back to yourself. So I've been very grateful for that, and also letting my perfectionism go. It has been hard. And what advice I would give to anybody looking to work with Logan and Katie? Absolutely do it. Don't even think twice. As long as you're willing to work for it and get out of your comfort zone, it will change your life. You can't resist the pain, just embrace it and watch it change you into a better person. That's my story.
Every single time that I talk to Kristen, like obviously she's a hard worker. The changing point that I see in this story now was commitment. I'm gonna quit everything else that I'm doing and I'm going to put all of my attention on this one thing because I'm capable of doing a lot. My engine is huge. My revs can go really, really high, but if I just, instead of having 5 part-time jobs, why don't I just put this all into one basket? In a year, she went from $12,000 a month to $50,000. And the only difference is like, she's committed. It didn't matter how many mistakes she had made, how much pain she had endured. Her actions every day are aligning with the ultimate goal of she truly wants freedom. How you get that freedom? She's a perfectionist, which is naturally a control freak, which means she has to let go of that control.